Okay, so we have this NURBS surface, and if you select it and go to options, properties of the object and open details, you see that it's a surface and it's a NURBS surface and it's a degree 3 surface, which is the default of all of them. One way to modify the surfaces is by changing the control points excuse me, of the surfaces. So here, if you left click on this object and then select your surface and hit enter, you see that the control points of this surface are going to be visible. If you grab one of the points and move it, you can actually modify the shape of it. In this case, because my surface was created by doing record history, it is a function of those two curves on the bottom and top. So when I want to finalize the movement of one of these control points, it asks me, are you sure you want to do this? By dragging that point on the surface, you are going to break its history. And if I do that, it means that this surface no longer remembers that it has been created by this curve. And if I modify my curve, for example, it will not affect the surface anymore. So that's another way of modifying them. Now the other object that I want to talk about is meshes. If you go to this menu of creating simple surfaces, in this case it's a sphere, by defining its center and the radius, a NURBS sphere is going to be created for you. If you go to the mesh menu, however, and then select polygon mesh primitives and select a sphere, again it asks you to set the center of the sphere and a radius. I'm going to eyeball a radius similar to the first one. You see that this sphere has jagged edges, and it's actually made of planar polygons that are connected to one another through these edges, and then some points or vertices at the four sides of it. These two are two inherently different geometries. If you select a mesh and go to details, you see that it's defined as mesh. Even though Rhino is really strong in NURBS modeling, it has some availabilities to work with meshes. Also, if you go to mesh menu, you have the option of creating a mesh from a NURBS object. Let's say I want to create a mesh from my NURBS sphere. I should select it and then hit enter. This is the default setting. I will not change it at this point and hit OK. Now the mesh surface is overlaid with my NURBS surface, and when I click on it, I can switch between the two, and it asks me which one you actually want to pick. I pick my mesh and I drag it here. So this object is a mesh object, and if I go to details, I can see that it's a valid mesh and it's a closed polygon mesh, and I can see the number of vertices and faces. So yeah, this was just a brief demonstration of a NURBS surface versus a mesh surface.